What's up, guys? Today I'm bringing you guys a Earth DPS guide video. Now we are going against some rage DPSs. I like to make these videos going against the top meta powers, being rage and water, if you guys did not already know. But first things first, I'm going to charge my Omega. I'm going to run up to the first set of ads. I'm going to use lasso. I'm going to tap brawling, and then I'm going to use Neo Venom, and then I'm going to use lasso, and then Omega. That's the rotation. And then after that, I'm quick to charge my Omega back up, and then rinse and repeat. I'm going to pop a supercharge. I'm going to tap triangle. The reason why I'm tapping triangle is because you got to be in combat for your EOG to work. All right, so if I haven't said that in the past video, just make sure you guys know that. You have to be in combat for your EOG to work. So you want to tap your weapon to get in combat, then hit your supercharge, then hit lasso, and then you can hit your Omega in that order. Usually that is the rinse and repeat, and this goes for any power, not just Earth, to be honest. That usually works where you get a lot of damage doing that rotation in that specific way. But anyways, like I was saying, we're going against some rage DPSs, Glass being rage, Sweet being rage, and I believe Flint's like a maxed out. Honestly, I don't know what that player is. I'm trying to see right now. I think he's fire. He's a fire DPS 503. I did get a lasso on this character. I didn't have one before. I think I made an Earth DPS video, but not a full guide video, but just a gameplay video without lasso, and I was still top DPS, which is something I wanted to talk about real quick. A lot of people go into my comment section crying about, hey, LV, I don't like how your videos have a lot of iconics, or your loadouts are just all iconics. This isn't power set abilities. I want to make something perfectly clear, right? I don't design this game. You know, I don't know if you guys think because I'm a content creator, you see these videos, you may think I'm part of a dev team or creator team. I'm not associated to DC whatsoever. I don't have any say in what they do, what they don't do. I don't even know what they're gonna do. All I do is utilize what they put out, and I make content with it. My videos are not necessarily meant to help the beginner player. They can, but they're not designed specifically for that player. They're meant to show you what's the best way to do a certain power and a certain role. So when I make my videos, that is the intention. So if I feel like there's an iconic that is going to make and it's going to enhance a certain power, then I will use that iconic. If you don't have that iconic, I'll try to give you alternatives, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to nerf myself when I know that there's an iconic that could potentially give me more damage. Like, for example, right here on single target, I use Starbolt. Some people may not have Starbolt. If you don't have Starbolt, I would use Upheaval, which we're going to go over at the end of the video. I'll show some of the alternatives. But the reason why I use Starbolt is mainly so I can get Supercharge. As you guys see, I'm running 2 5Ks and then Earthquake, which is a 5K that can turn into a 10K with the combo. So with that being said, I have to use Starbolt so I can regenerate my Supercharge to be able to pull that off. Now, if you don't have Starbolt, you can still do good damage. It's just not going to be as much damage, at least not in my opinion. So, other than that, on how to use it for the single target is very simple. All you're doing is really spamming Starbolt. You're spamming Starbolt. You're hitting a supercharge when your Omega's orange, and then you hit a orange Omega afterwards. That's pretty much all it is. The main skill gap to it is positioning, obviously not dying, and then obviously not missing your projectiles, because with the Starbolt you can easily miss because they're projectiles. And then the other thing is obviously getting your EOG proc. Don't let other people take it from you. That's really where the skill check is. And yeah, try to use your trinket and your supply drop right before you use your supercharges, because that's gonna just buff them. And always use your Neo, then your Entomb, and then your Earthquake. In that same order. But that's basically the, I guess you could say, the skill check to the ST. And then the first move is just Pebble Blast. I only use Pebble Blast if my Starbolt gets stunned or I have to move. So my Starbolt's on cooldown, so I hit a 1 or 2 or 3 upheaval. Not upheaval, Pebble Blast is until my Starbolt's back up. And then that's pretty much it. What a lot of people don't know, though, is on this first boss, you want to make sure you conserve supercharge. As you guys can see, I have full supercharge on the top left. I only pop an Entomb here in the end just because I had too much. But look at how I'm going into this parking lot with full super. And one thing I do is I hit both supers at the same time with Earth. And you can see right off the bat, I hit a crazy amount of damage. If you notice, if you go back, I do that on the first hallway too. If you hit a Neo or a Neo Entomb or Entomb Neo, it doesn't really matter. You're going to buff the living hell out of your Omega and out of your Entomb. So you'll do a crazy amount of damage right there. Now, I'm going to be doing a power tier list in the future, so stay tuned for that. But I kind of wanted to show you guys some gameplay so you guys, when you do watch the tier list video, you kind of can go into my channel and kind of, you know, figure out what you think is the best. I mean, I have the loadouts there for you guys, and then I also show you guys the damage. But again, I will say, again, the lasso is a big crucial part to this raid and the hallways. You know, whenever you guys see me hit, you know, 100+ mil damage, usually lasso has something to do with it. So that's why I always tell people, if anyone would like to buy one, make sure you guys are contacting me. I've sold a couple lassos to people in the past. I sold one this week to a viewer. I sold him a lasso and a bat swarm. So instead of you guys trying to, you know, there's the select few, not everyone, the select few people that are complaining about lasso or complaining about bat swarm, you got two choices. You can buy one and use it yourself, or you can just keep complaining about it, I guess, or just don't play the game. I mean, I don't know what really to tell you, but that is just part of the game, and just got to deal with it. If you want to play the game, that's just going to be, people are going to use it. So you can't sit there and be like, oh, he's just getting all his damage from his lasso, he's getting all his damage from his EOG. Well, that's part of the game. You know what I mean? It's just like if you go to any other game, you go to Call of Duty, people are going to use meta guns. If you go to Fortnite, if you go to Marvel Rivals, people are going to use meta characters. Every game, there's always a meta, there's a trend, there's something that's OP and everyone follows it. You know what I mean? So that's just how it is. That's just how it is in any type of game. So that's just a little message for the people that are continuously just complaining about the Iconics or EOG. That's what I have, and I feel like there's always going to be complaints. I played this game for a very, very long time, and I've seen it all. I've done Prec, I've done the art swapping meta, I've done pre-EOG, and it's always a complaint. Even if they take out lasso, even if they do take out EOG, there's always just going to be a new complaint. It's just how it is. So it doesn't bother me, but I did want to address it because I do see it happening a lot. Oh, and then on this boss, I would like to say you want to burn out all your supercharge, as you guys can see on top, by a margin. But on this boss, you want to make sure that you are burning all your supercharge, because you'll just regain it in this part, either by your healer giving it to you, as you guys can see now on full, or you'll get it by using your star bowl, or by your healer giving it to you. So one or the other way, you'll be full supercharge. So here I use Neo, Entomb, and then I use my Omega, and then I'm on a Earthquake, and as you guys can see, I do the combo, and then I get a 50 mil parse on just single target, and then I use Earthquake, I charge up my Omega, and then I'm using it again, and then I get a 50 mil, and then a 56 mil parse on just single target is really, really good. Then I back up so I can get out of the pool, I get another EOG proc, and I'm standing on the John Constantine to buff myself, and then I hit another Omega in there, and then boom. And as you guys can see there, that is what, 300 mil gap from a rage. So the second place is a rage, third place a fire, and then the fourth is another rage. But yeah, you guys can see Earth can hit. Now I'm not saying whatsoever that Earth is better than rage. But what I'm saying is if you do your job good as Earth, you can beat a rage. You can beat a rage, you can beat a water. It's not the easiest thing to do, but it is possible, and Earth can do good damage. So I just wanted to point that out. It's the same thing that goes for mental, and I do think mental, there's a lot of powers that I'm going to be doing that they can do really good damage. Like it might not be ice, I mean it might not be water and rage every time, but they can still do good damage. A lot of people think you have to be rage or water to do damage, and that's just not the case. Yes, the water and rage are better, but that doesn't mean you have to play those powers. All right, so with that being said, let's go right into this showcase so I can show you guys everything that has to do with the allies and the arts and the SP. Alrighty guys, so let's go right into this. So AoE, we're gonna make this quick. So for AoE, if you don't have lasso, right, you can use Spore Pod. Okay, now if you don't have Spore Pod, you can use Unstoppable. Okay, now if you don't have magma, or for some reason you don't have magma or Spore Pod and you want all earth, you want an all earth loadout, you can use you still use Unstoppable, but you can use Tectonic Break. Now if you really want an all earth, like you have literally nothing outside of earth, like literally everything's from the Earth power set. You can take out Neo and you can put on Earthquake and run this here. If you're someone that doesn't have EOG heals and you have less supercharge, you can put in Speed Drain, which is a 2.5, and then into Entomb. So those are the different things that you can do. You need Omega one way or another, and I mean, I guess you could call that an iconic, I don't know, but you have to run that. If you don't run that, you're just gonna be losing out on too much damage. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the alternatives for AoE. But again, this is, in my opinion, the best loadout that you can have. If you have like a really good healer, like someone who's giving you a lot of supercharge, like I started to run this with my league, is with my league, I'll run Earthquake and Entomb. I run this and then this, 3 supercharges, and then I would just use Jackhammer to build my Omega, and then I would lasso and then just spam supercharges. If you have a healer that's like somewhat good, you might get away with running Earthquake and Neo, and then you're still running you can run Magma, or you can run Unstoppable or Spore Pod. Any of these 3 works. So yeah, those are some of the alternatives that you can have, but this is primarily the main loadout that I use. That's kind of like the middle ground for everything I just told you. The reason why I use Magma because it puts crushes, which is the PI for Jackhammer. What I try to do, I don't think I did it in this video, but usually the best run possible, I'll use Magma for the first hallway because the ads die pretty quick, and then when I get to the parking lot, I'll put in Spore Pod, just because Spore Pod, when the ads die, they blow up the poison. Literally the poison blows up, and then it's just like a contagious effect. So then as you see at the end, it says releases their own explosions with effects 3 uninfected, so it basically spreads it. So it's really good for the parking lot, but I mean, either one work and they still do good damage. So that's that for that. For arts, pretty much every DPS power has the same arts. Omega, Book, Soul Cloak, Trans, and EOG are the arts. For SP, you're gonna put super powered, critical, full might and power. You can go 100 into precision if you want, but it doesn't really matter. You're not gonna be using your weapon. I just go full health just so I can stay alive. As you guys can see, I have 1.45 health, which is not bad. And then allies, I am using Mr. Freeze as my combat, static, and then flash. If you don't have Mr. Freeze, you can use Superboy, or you can use Batman Who Laughs. There are 2 other good allies. I wouldn't worry too much about the combat though. The main thing that you would need to worry about is static and flash. And yeah, for single target, for single target, I run Starbolt and Pebble Blast. If you don't have Starbolt, you can run Upheaval, which is this move here. And all you would do is literally combo, animation cancel, combo, animation cancel. Just like that. Until you have your Omega, then you hit your Omega. It's very straightforward. Now, if you wanted to get, let's say you don't have an EOG healer and you have Starfire, I would take out static, put in Starfire in. I don't have it on this character, but it's not a bad idea. You take out Starfire, you put these 2 supercharges, and then you put your weapon buff. You put your weapon buff here, and what this is gonna do is that you're gonna have a clip. You're gonna have a clip, and you're gonna have extra might, so you'll be able to get more damage in. But this usually, I would recommend this only if you don't have an EOG healer and you have Starfire. So you'd put in Starfire, the weapon buff. I could show you here. Using a weapon buff gives you might, and then all you would do is just clip the 2, use your Omega, do the combo, same thing. Look how fast it charges with that. So now I have my Omega right away. So if you don't have Starbolt, I would more recommend this setup with the Starfire, so that way you can just stack your you're basically going to increase your base damage since you can't spam supercharges that much. So I would recommend this. Starfire static, John Constantine with Pebble Blast, weapon buff, Omega, Neo, Entomb, and Upheaval. If you don't have Starbolt. If you do have Starbolt, I recommend this setup. If you don't have an EOG healer, again, you would put the weapon buff in there. Boom. So yeah, that's pretty much a single target. That's the AoE. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I use the jackhammer back mod just so that I can get the jackhammer off cooldown quicker, and then everything else is usually the same from every other power. Ultimate legs, penetrating strikes for chest, neck escalating might, ultimate head, and max damage. Pretty straightforward. Well, yeah, without further ado, I hope to see you guys in the next video. Let me know if you guys have any questions or any concerns. And just a daily reminder, if you guys would like to try out for my league, let me know. I kicked out a bunch of people. I invited a bunch of people. I'm honestly, I'm really selective on who I let into my league, because I want to make sure that everyone in the league is included. Everyone in the league is growing and learning. Everyone in the league is having fun. And so, yeah, if you guys are interested, you guys can always contact me on Discord or in the game. And without further ado, I'll catch you guys in the next one. And if anyone is interested in buying a lasso, please contact me as well. I think I have one left over. I'm not completely sure. Yeah, I think I have one left over. So yeah, hit me up if you guys would like to buy it. But without further ado, I'll catch you guys in the next video, and have a good one.